Well, it's a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to have our friend Chairman Comer with us. Chairman Comer, welcome back to the program. Do I understand, is it true that you have a pretty good idea who was using the hell do they call it, the AutoPen?
The AutoPen. We've narrowed it down, and we're pretty confident based on some research and inside sources that we've identified the person, but we're going to bring in 4 or 5 people that would have all played a role in the AutoPen. So hopefully we'll be able to learn something from these transcribed interviews and depositions. But we have a lot of questions, and I think the American people deserve answers.
Yeah, because this is tyranny. You can't have unelected staffers signing stuff to cover up for the president and to advance an agenda the American people didn't vote for. I've never heard of anything so disgusting as this. Let me ask you this, Mr. Chairman. How are you going to get them in front of your committee? You're going to have to subpoena them, I guess?
Well, we've asked them to come in, and if they refuse, then we'll subpoena. As you know, we have to demonstrate in good faith that we want them to come in. The subpoenas seem to do better in court. These employees have lawyered up pretty good, so we know that we're going to have to do everything right to be able to get them in to sit down for their depositions.
My God. And if you go to court and some court rules no, we're never going to get to the bottom of this, and getting to the bottom of this is a big deal. Let me ask you this question. We've been discussing on this program this evening the role of the Attorney General. The Attorney General was the center of the hub. The Attorney General knew what was on that audio. It was transcribed. He came up with some cockamamie privilege that nobody ever heard of before, and he withheld it. He covered it up right through the election, and then he leaves. He was the same Attorney General while he was orchestrating the Biden side, was orchestrating the Trump side. So simultaneously, excuse me, he was working overtime to take out Donald Trump. This guy who comes across like a fatherly figure, careful about what he says, kind of bumble, former judge. Mr. Chairman, this man was diabolical, absolutely diabolical. What do you think?
No, I agree completely, and it's just it's refreshing that the truth is finally coming out. I'm shocked that the legacy media is finally admitting that they failed and that there was a cover up. But you know, I question their side of the story, that they didn't know all along. And look, you know, at the end of the day, everyone knows that Joe Biden wasn't making the decisions. You've got the Attorney General, who's supposed to be a check and balance in this whole equation, and he was not only failed at his duty as someone that was supposed to provide oversight or whatever, he was complicit. And I think that, you know, it's just it's terrible. And I would encourage the Trump Justice Department to try to see what they could do to hold him accountable.
100%. Now, I also think maybe our good friend Jim Jordan, the Judiciary Committee, I would think has some oversight here. It's the Department of Justice, after all, that they should bring him in too and question him about his various roles and so forth. And hopefully the Attorney General and others currently have access to materials if they weren't destroyed. It's the other thing, Mr. Chairman, that I'm scratching my head over. Am I to believe that the Presidential Records Act was not violated by any of these people trying to cover their asses on the way out the door? I can't imagine that. Can you?
No. And you know, we know that some of these staffers that we're going to bring in are going to try to claim executive privilege and you know, all sorts of things to try to prevent them from having.
By the way, aren't they going to have a problem? Aren't they going to have a problem with that, given what they did to Bannon?
We think so.
Yeah.
We think so. And again, it goes back to what I said in the beginning. We're going to try to make sure every I is dotted and T is crossed when we bring them in. But we have asked them to come in, and if they refuse, then the next step will be the subpoena. And at that point, we'll have demonstrated every good faith effort to get them to come in voluntarily.
Do you know, I don't know, this AutoPen, does anybody just have access to it? Is it under lock and key? Is it in a special room? I mean, how does this thing work?
I don't know how theirs works. I know mine's right out wide open in the office, and we have a couple of low level staffers that use it. And what we use the AutoPen for in my office is to sign proclamations and just little things like that. But when I have to subpoena someone or do something like that, I have to sign it. I mean, because my lawyers have always said if we don't sign it, then they could get it kicked out in court. And to think that Joe Biden's administration was using the AutoPen to sign pardons and executive orders and appropriations of trillions of dollars, and it's just the list goes on. And I mean, it just begs the question: if we can prove that Joe Biden didn't have any knowledge or wasn't capable of making the decision to allow someone to use the AutoPen, then can these executive orders that were issued at the end of his administration to Trump-proof the federal government, can they be voided? Because these executive orders, especially the ones with the Federal Employees Union, is making it very difficult for Trump to eliminate the U.S. Department of Education and to trim the size of the federal government because they signed new contracts and collective bargaining agreements with the Federal Employees Union, and it's hurting Trump in court as he tries to drain the swamp.
Now, Mr. Chairman, don't you think the White House counsel, the White House chief of staff, some of these people should be dragged before maybe your committee or whatever committee it is? I mean, they are the chief, staffers, like they're on your staff or they were on my staff when I was chief of staff to the Attorney General. They were in the know. Right.
And I think they will. The great thing that's happened with this Jake Tapper book and all this other stuff is that momentum's on our side. When we requested, for example, the White House doctor answer some questions about the last time he issued a perfect bill of health for Joe Biden. They never did respond to our information. We requested information about who was making various decisions in the White House when it was obvious to everyone that Joe Biden was becoming essentially a mental invalid. They never did reply. So when we would talk about this over at the beginning of the Trump administration, the media would be like, why are you bringing up Biden stuff? It's all over. Well, now there's momentum. Now people are offended. People are outraged. They're reading this Tapper book where I was the one that said, I actually think Hunter Biden is running the show. And people laughed when I said that. Well, Tapper said that in an interview today, that Hunter Biden was essentially the de facto chief of staff the last 3 months of the administration. That is word for word what I said, the de facto chief of staff.
We're here with Representative Chairman Comer. Chairman Comer, this really doesn't have anything to do with your duties, but just as an American citizen, you watch this Jake Tapper. I'm told now his book is number 1 nonfiction book on Amazon. This guy's part of the cover-up. He's part of the deceit of the American people. And then he writes a book with another schlub, basically slapping the wrist of those who covered it. Are we living in the Twilight Zone? How do you get away with something like this?
I have no idea. I'm not going to spend a penny of my money on the book. But, at the end of the day, the free promotion that he's gotten out of this, and among all the liberal media, when it's it's a slap in their face. No one, the question is, did they really believe that Joe Biden was competent? And they were fooled, or were they complicit in it? I don't know. I learned during the Biden investigation, the media was financially illiterate, and every story they wrote was copy and pasted from someone that sent it to them. And it's just there is no journalism in a lot of America left. There's conservative journalists, but there are no journalists left at these legacy media outlets.
Well, I've had you here, this Trump bill, as it's called. There's always a couple, isn't there? And not just conservatives, but some of the Republicans from the Northeast too. They're going to hold up the whole damn bill and all that's in it because they feel they're not getting a this or a that. I mean, I don't think Reagan could have gotten his tax cuts through this House of Representatives.
No, and Trump said it best when he said he called out one of the New Yorkers. I'm not going to name which name, but you probably know which one. And he's always complaining, always wanting more, and always saying, "Oh, he's going to get beat." And Trump told him today. He said, "If you get beat, it's not because of salt. You were going to get beat anyway." I mean, and I agreed with that completely. If you're so weak that you can't take one vote that might not have overwhelming approval in your district, then you really, you've got bigger problems in politics. No one's going to get what they want, but you're exactly right. It's usually the same 10 or 15 people. We have 220 Republicans in the House. There's not a single one of us that like 100% of that bill. But the way the system was designed was 435 members, and it takes 218 votes to pass a bill in the House of Representatives. You've got to work together and negotiate and compromise. And this bill's been done right. This, what Trump refers to as the big, beautiful bill or the budget reconciliation bill, this has gone through regular order. In 8 years I've been in Congress, this is the first bill that had multiple committees of jurisdiction. Mine was one, the Oversight Committee. We had jurisdiction over the federal employee benefits, and we passed our portion out of committee. We marked it up, as it's called. The 10 other committees did the same thing. We've debated. We've had countless workshops on this bill. We've had countless meetings, public meetings, private meetings. We've debated it. We've negotiated it. I mean, this is how the process is supposed to work. And so many times, Congress is broken and it doesn't do it the right way. And now these guys are saying, well, we need more time. I mean, we've done it the right way. It's been 4.5 months. It's time for the House to vote on it and send it to the Senate.
Yeah, I mean, to the extent it gets quote unquote better, it's going to be de minimis to most of the American people.
Yeah,
and the thing is this. I favor bigger tax deductions for interest and so forth, so you take another bite at it next time. I mean, you can't get it all done in one thing like this. And there's a lot in this bill that's good, right?
It's 95% of this bill is outstanding. And with Medicaid, we're not cutting poor people on Medicaid. We're trying to tighten the eligibility requirements because we believe there are a lot of illegals that are currently on the Medicaid rolls. And that's free health care. People get Medicaid and Medicare confused. Medicare people pay into, and they're entitled to receive it. Medicaid is free health care. And it's a good program it's supposed to be for poor children, poor pregnant women, poor elderly, disabled people. That's what it's supposed to be for. But what's happened is states have expanded it. These blue states especially have allowed these illegals to get on it. And then in states like Kentucky that expanded Medicaid, you've got people that are very healthy and men that are very able-bodied that couldn't work if they wanted to because they would lose their free health care. If they got a job at McDonald's, they would lose their free health care. So we've got to change it and protect it for the people that need it. And that's what Trump said today, and that's what we're doing.
This workfare aspect of it used to be in place. It was Obama who lifted that. I remember when Reagan fought for that and Gingrich put it in place. They remove it. So now you guys want to put it back in place to protect the people who deserve it, as you just said, the people who really need it. And we've got Republicans, number one, some who are afraid to run against that. And number two, the Democrats who lie about everything and anything. They're saying, oh, you're cutting Medicaid. And, you basically need 20 seconds to explain. I think able-bodied men should have to work 20 hours a day before they get Medicaid. I don't think illegal aliens should get Medicaid. I think we should protect it for the true poor American citizens who need it. How hard is it to say that?
I know. The only thing that's being cut on Medicaid is waste, fraud, and abuse. That's it. And I think the American people support that. It's going to be protected for the people that need it. And look, President Trump's been very clear on that. He didn't want to to cut Medicaid. Now, we've got Republicans that want to cut it, and they make good arguments. But at the end of the day, this is what the president wants. The president campaigned. He said he wasn't going to touch Social Security. He said he wasn't going to touch Medicare and Medicaid. He was going to cut out wasteful spending, waste, fraud, and abuse. He's doing exactly what he campaigned on. This is the will of the American people. The president has a mandate. We've debated it. We've discussed it. People have given and taken on the bill, and at the end of the day, it's time to pass it. And surely to goodness, over the next 3 days, we'll pass it out of the House.
You know what? Here's the thing, and you see this in life all the time. You guys have put together a budget. Nobody even thought you could put this together. It's got so many good things on tips and overtime and people on Social Security and how you're going to reduce their taxes. You got a lot more money securing the border and the Golden Dome, and I can go on and on and on. And you do that, and they go, "Wow, look at this." Well, I want more. I want more. You're not going to get more. Get the damn thing passed, and you can play around with it next year.
You know, what I would like to tell these members, and there are a few senators like that, file a bill. See how many votes you can get. And they wouldn't get 15 or 20 votes. Okay, this is the only vehicle that can get 218 votes. It's either pass this bill or continue to govern, continue to live by the rules that Nancy Pelosi and whoever was controlling the White House under Joe Biden created. That's the option there.
By the way, I'll let you go, but those Democrats that were basically stormed that ICE detention facility, it was sort of a mini January 6th, I would say. You know, I think they ought to throw the book at them. That looked like an insurrection to me. We ought to circle that one on our calendar too, Congressman. Just saying. Well, anyway,
it looked like an insurrection to me too.
You're a good guy. We appreciate you. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, take care of yourself.